Welcome into the AU Women's Basketball Report with Coach Gebbia. I'm Dan Laing and Coach Gebbia. As we take a look at you guys streaking right now, 8 straight wins. That's pretty impressive, and it's got to sound good.
Yeah, it feels good. You know, just basically where we were in December, not winning a game, and then coming into January, you know, struggling a little bit against Bucknell with different lineup and things like that. But being able to put together 8 wins with a lot of youngsters out there is a feat in and of itself. So I'm really happy with where we're at, especially where we're seated in the conference. And we just have to keep it rolling now because we have some really good opponents coming up. So we'll see. You
mentioned that, and you mentioned how you guys are rolling. Chemistry-wise, it seems like at times you guys are playing really well. Then at times maybe there's a little hiccup. Now, granted, you had Kaitlyn Marenyi out for, I think it was 8 games. You had Kaitlyn Lewis out for 3 games. So both of them missed some time and together weren't playing a lot. So how has all that kind of played in with you guys?
It's been a struggle with the chemistry, I think. You know, in the beginning of the year, I thought we had chemistry with the starting group and we didn't have bench chemistry. Then this happens, and now the bench comes in, and we start to get chemistry, and then they get hurt, and then they come back, and now we're struggling again. So it's, you know, what I've noticed throughout the course of the game, it starts to get better, but we need to be able to take the ending of this past game and move it into the beginning of next game. So if we can try to do that, I think things will bode better for us. But, you know, it takes time, especially with Katie, who's been out for basically a month, just her getting her win back. Kaylee feeling confident again with her elbow injury is going to take time. But, you know, I think I talked to Cecily and Alina a little bit about it, and they're like, yeah, it's a little strange, but we'll get there. So I think they're confident in it. It's just who knows when it's all going to come together.
How do you say you hope to be able to kind of move the end of the game the other night to the beginning of the next game? How do you do that? Or is that just something you just hope that it happens?
Well, I think making it a note of it and bringing it up is the first step. Like telling them, like, why did you wait till the 4th quarter to kind of start clicking? What is it about the 4th quarter that makes you kind of step up? We were down most of the game, so that might be part of it. But not getting ourselves into a deficit, I think, is really important. I've noticed when this team starts out well, we usually carry it through the game. But when we start out a little slower, our defense isn't on point, we struggle. And we've shown that we've struggled in those types of games. So we'll work a little bit on it in practice. You know, just starting practices better, and maybe that will help carry into games. We'll see.
Moretti with her 15 points against Holy Cross. What is that doing for her confidence, do you think?
I think it's a lot for her, a lot of confidence for her, because Katie is a scorer. She was our leading scorer in the non-conference, and you know, just coming in back that last game and only scoring 7 points, she got to the line, missed her free throws. It's like everything's just off, and she's a good free throw shooter. So I think it's good for her because she hit big buckets in the Holy Cross game. She got a couple and ones. She scored around the basket. She made a couple threes, and I think just making that first 3 against Lafayette was huge for her. Just saying, oh, I can score, right? This is a good thing. So I'm excited for her because she's somebody that can really add more points for us overall. And I'm excited to see how the others respond to Katie, because now that she's back and if she's able to score, India can't take a back seat now, or Fish or Jade now when they come in, they can't take back seats to her. They also need to find their ways to score.
Cecily Carl had a big game against Holy Cross, had a double-double. First of the season and her 3rd 20-point game of the season. So what does she mean to this team overall? I mean, I know you probably talk ad nauseum about that, but she's so important.
I think she's our best player. I've been saying that since the summer. Yet teams are focusing on her, so it's been a little harder for her to score. So she's been able to rebound. She's been able to get assists. She's been able to take the pressure off from time to time throughout the course of a game. But I love the way Cecily's playing, and I think it starts on the defensive end for her. When she's able to play good defense and we get rolling on offense, people forget about her sometimes because we have people that can score around her. And then when you lose her, is a bad thing for opponents. So I just love how she's playing. I think she's playing with a lot of confidence right now. Like I said, I think yesterday, you know, she knows this is the last month of her career, so month and a half, whatever. So she has to step up, and I've challenged her in the locker room a little bit with, like, we're playing against some good bigs. Lafayette has a great big in Natalie Kakowski. You know, Holy Cross has a preseason player of the year in Lauren Manis. Like, are you going to step up against these two? And she has.
Let's talk about, you mentioned Cecily's D. Overall as a team, your defense pretty outstanding right now. Let's see, in conference, first in scoring D, first in field goal D, 3-point defense at the top, defensive rebounding, turnover margin, all at the top. Defense has really been a focus for you guys, hasn't it?
It has, and it's funny that you say those things because I'm yelling at them constantly about better defense, right? So I don't think it's good enough. And so even though the stats prove me wrong, I've gone back and watched last year's team play defense, and we're not there yet. And if that's what it takes to win a championship, then we have a ways to go yet. And a lot of times, it's nice with the returners back, with Katie and Kaylu back, because they understand the defensive concepts. They know where to be. So it's a lot of it's the youngsters getting out there and just minor mistakes, but good teams make you pay when you mess up. And last night, Holy Cross, every time we messed up, they scored. So we have to get better. So yeah, it sounds great, but as a coach, you're never satisfied with it.
All right, Coach. Well, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
That'll do it for this edition of the AU Women's Basketball Report. For more on the Eagles, log on to aueagles.com. And, of course, follow the Eagles across all the social media platforms. For Coach Gebbia, I'm Dan Laing. We'll see you next time.